Some games we feel extremely focused, and other games we just simply don't. Some games it feels like you're watching the enemy's head move in slow motion, and some games you just get lost in the chaotic, blurry mess. But what if you had the answer to not only why that is, but what you have to do in order to perform at the highest level of Valorant? Well, luckily for you, you've stumbled across the Zasko.2 channel. I'm the guy trying to reach Radiant both in-game as well as in real life by any means necessary. This week we dig deeper into the mind, explore attention theory, and unlock the ability to sharpen and maintain our focus to levels I could have only ever dreamed of. We finally find new and creative ways to optimize our Valorant learning speed, and all in all take tremendous strides down the path of becoming an extraordinary man. Whether it's motivation, ideas, knowledge, someone to root for, or someone to compete against, this series has something for everyone looking to reach their true potential. I start my morning with 15 minutes of sunlight, something that I can only do because I've taken 1 month of paid leave from work. No longer having to wake up at 5 AM anymore, I've aligned my sleep schedule with the sun. This time off work though is not a vacation, and that's why I'm getting straight into my coaching session with Dopeye. This video will show you the implementation of everything that I learned from Dopeye, but if you're interested in checking out the full coaching session, Dopeye live streams it every single week, Tuesday, 5 PM Eastern Standard Time. 2 hours of coaching done, and I'm back outside eating some protein, omega-3 fatty acids, as well as getting our vitamin D. If you have an amazing memory, you'll remember that last week I started learning my first ever hobby. Last week I played 3 45-minute golf sessions, all with the idea of learning golf without any form of instruction whatsoever. Not only that, but I'm also just not thinking at all. I'm basically just meditating and shifting my focus between the ball, the divots in the ball, the different muscles that I'm activating while I swing, or the motion of the swing itself. By trusting my subconscious to learn through experience and not interfering at all, I've been able to see some insanely rapid progression. Of course, golf is just a hobby that I don't care about. What matters is how do I harness this power in our Valorant progression. When I play golf, I have complete control over my mind because of how calm and relaxing the environment is. When I play competitive Valorant though, when I try and assign a focus to the game, it just gets lost in the chaotic mess. There's too much going on, there's too much on the line, and it's just not the same as meditating through 200 golf swings. Before finding a solution though, I need to get a mouse bungee going. Not that I'm going to buy one, instead I'm going to tape the cable to my monitor arm and hopefully have that be the solution. Once that's all done, I get stuck into the unthinkable. I cue a Swift play. Games that are half as long with nothing on the line. Basically no one cares. Using a semi-realistic, stress-free environment like this could be the best way to replicate that same feeling of golf. In theory, I should be able to play every single round solely focused on a specific area. And here I'm able to put my entire focus solely on entry pathing, with perfect crosshair placement and as much composure as possible. I quickly found a problem with Swift play though. I wanted to practice entry routing, however I got like 2 rounds to do so with a rifle before I swapped to defense, and then I feel like I'm just fragging out. I swapped to unrated where the games are longer and there's still nothing on the line. However, I found that I still wasn't able to get the same quality of practice as I was getting in golf. During my coaching session with Dopeye, we identified how bad my routing is. Hypothetically, if Dopeye was to criticize a specific part of my golf swing, like I was hitting the ball too high, I would grab a bucket of golf balls, walk outside, and hit 200 golf balls in an hour. The environment would be stress-free, and all I would be doing is focusing on hitting the ball the right way. Real quick, this is the first perfectly executed Zasko slide in a game. My idea didn't meet the expectations that I had set for it. I put together some rice and sardines, and I'm eating it outside in the sunlight until an idea strikes. Why don't I get some friends to hop into a custom game and simulate the scenarios that I want to work on? Just like how the pro teams and their 10-man rosters practice executes against each other, we could simulate those 200 golf swings. We could simulate the 200 sight takes. The idea stays in the back of my head, and I hop on stream to play 3 to 4 competitive games. The main focus, of course, is better controlling my mind, awareness, and concentration. More than ever, I trust my subconscious mind to perform, and I'm learning to let go of control, and just allow myself to perform. In combination with our improving stoicism, we are truly starting to go with the flow. Hey, we're playing crazy. We're playing playing out of our mind, literally out of our mind. It's because I'm just not thinking and I'm just playing subconsciously. Out of the 4 games I played, only one of them was bad. However, I walk away from the session feeling extremely mentally exhausted. I've unlocked an extremely high level of focus, however it comes at a very high cost. In order to recharge that mental battery, I get myself outside to watch the sunset. Most of the time spent chatting with my partner, however I did allocate a fair chunk of time to just processing as many thoughts as I could. As the sun sets, I get myself to sleep, and as the sun rises, I wake up the next day. Routinely, the first task of the day is starting up the rice cooker, and not too long after, I get straight out for our morning sunlight. I always talk about how intentionally focusing your gaze on specific things like the enemy's head will pull you out of your mind and get you into that focused, relaxed state. The same can be said though about your hearing. Despite looking extremely comfortable, I'm shifting my awareness between all the different sounds that I can hear. Just like how in Valorant, when you stare at the enemy's eyes or nose, you stop your mind from wandering, the same thing happens when you become more aware of the enemy's footsteps, gunshots, and even your team's comms. While your conscious mind is focused on the sounds, your subconscious mind is free to perform as it knows how to do. Rice and sardines are down and I get straight into warming up for comp. In yesterday's coaching session, we looked at Ascent and specifically my routing on Ascent. In the entire 2.5 hour session, I only got in 1 repetition of practicing my new pathing. But as you can see, I'm using as much cover as possible, avoiding the mistake of opening up myself to multiple angles at once, and scaling onto sight with the ability of playing any power position that I want. As per usual, I take a break from our comp and go out and play some golf, this time increasing the distance of my shots. Chipping the golf ball like this is slowly starting to feel so much more natural. My shots are extremely consistent now, and most of the time I'm getting them within the green patch of the flag. My goal here is a hole-in-one, however all of these shots are landing in great positions to get putted from. What's the term? Puttable positions. Regardless, today's like 38 degrees and I'm feeling absolutely cooked. But anyways, I realized I wasn't getting enough fat in my diet, so I got some almonds going, and while eating them I tried to really get on top of my water, make sure I'm nice and hydrated. The reason I'm thinking about water is because my recovery score is still low despite not doing any training and getting really good sleep. It turns out that golf is zone 1 and 2 cardio, so I guess that would be adding up over time. Anyways, we're onto some midday aim training, which might seem like an unusual thing because normally I do my aim training at night. However, that's not when we play golf. So in the attempt of trying to harness that golf learning speed, I've brought my aim training forwards. And for this session, I'm putting my full focus on wide flicks and our vertical aiming, 2 of our absolutely weakest areas. But I wasn't done replicating our golf sessions yet. In order to replicate how I would hit 10 or 12 balls and then take a break, go for a walk and pick them all up, and then do it again, I was aim training in short bursts and then taking a break to just do some breath work and process what I've learned so far. Coming back after my first pause and my lines were already getting straighter. Less than 10 minutes of repeating this cycle later and my vertical flicks as well as my wide flicks are unrecognizable compared to the start of the session. This definitely feels way more like my golf progression. To finish off my session on wide flicks, I hop into the range and practice in game as well. Eventually though, calling it and doing some yoga nidra or NSDR to further amplify our learning speed. This meditation session, however, set us up to have one of the most impactful and game-changing comp sessions of all time. In the first game we played, we were shooting beautifully. The team was super chill, we were playing a standard game, nothing out of the ordinary. However, our next game was the complete opposite. This game's not going well from a team aspect. Let's accept the loss and then let's just develop our own movement. We were playing with a super tilted team, everything was chaotic, and we were versing a team comp that was extremely unorthodox or at least unfamiliar to myself. 7 rounds in, we were 7 rounds down, and I just gave up on the win and decided to fully focus on just my gunfights. And the outcome of that was our absolute best mechanical performance of all time. The concept of forgetting about IGLing, forgetting about team morale, and forgetting about overthinking all the smaller details and instead just focusing on the mechanics and killing people, well, I've decided to call that shooter mode. In this extreme example, I don't ask for any utility, I don't play with my team, and instead I just ace everyone. The next game I play, of course I put this to the test and I find a more balanced version of this extreme shooter mode. I'm trying to give clear, concise and basic comms to my team, not overdoing it and not telling anyone what to do, and I'm basically just allocating 100% of my brain's attention budget towards each and every fight I'm taking. That's what it looks like when I just go full shooter mode. If our goal is to be one of the most mechanically dominant players of all time, this is how it's going to be done. Excited with how crisp our mechanics were looking, I get straight into a mechanical VOD review. The goal was to break down each and every death and figure out why the gunfight went wrong and what I could have done better next time. What is up, people of the Ko-Fi? How are you all doing? It is time for a VOD review. I hope you're G'd up. What kind of VOD review? A VOD review where we look at nothing but mechanical ability. Now, content as special and insightful as this is strictly limited to the Ko-Fi supporters only, but I will say that it's only a few dollars to support the channel and it goes a very long way, also with an added perk of giving you access to the coolest Discord server of all time. There's absolutely no pressure from me, but check out the link in the description if you're interested in joining. Having made some amazing discoveries during my live stream, of course it was something that we were discussing. I was explaining how if I eliminate external factors that might be taking away my attention, I can get deeper and deeper into focus on specific things or more important things. After the stream, Gavin, who was listening, sent me something extremely valuable, and it was some translated insight into the mind of one of the most legendary League of Legends players of all time. And it was extremely cool to see that I was on the right track with my idea of attention. Dopa, or Apto, uses the example of all players having 100 attention points. He explains how listening to comms, reading the minimap, having pings steal your attention, having a teammate throw, or even something external like having your setup slightly off or just thinking about something besides the game, all of these things take away from your total attention pool. He's way more likely to make more mistakes because his attention isn't going to where it should be. This perfectly aligns with the fact that when I have a tilted team, I perform worse. When I'm versing a team comp that's unfamiliar, I perform worse. When I end up in a scenario that I've never been in before and I have to use my attention points to try and figure out what's going on, I simply play worse. This is where the whiffs come in, this is where the tension comes in, and this is where the stress panic sprays come in. If in Valorant, I don't have a proper understanding of pathing and routing, I'm going to do something different every time, constantly putting myself in a situation where I need to use attention points to figure out how to solve it. If I turn around and start developing my pathing and routing, I'm putting attention points towards developing that skill in the first place. This is what the League of Legends player Dopa talks about in the context of mastery. In the case of Valorant, having such a deep understanding of your role and agent to the point where the most optimal routing and pathing is simply done without a thought, without a single attention point being taken away from you. As of right now, with my current routing situation, I'm wasting upwards of 50 attention points. However, if I was to master my routing and have a set plan that is second nature, then suddenly I gain an additional 50 points that I could put towards in-game awareness, tracking enemy positions, and also killing people. This is an extremely broad concept that can be applied in a few ways. If our goal is to win at Valorant, then stop wasting attention points trying to learn things in-game. But if there is something in our Valorant that's lacking and needs to be developed, it makes no sense trying to focus on that in competitive at all. With the amount of attention points being diverted to every single element of a competitive game, you're probably giving it 10 to 15 points at max. The reason why my golf swing is developing so much faster than my routing is because the environment that I give it is one that allows me to put 100 attention points towards developing that specific skill. It makes perfect sense why it's developing 10 times faster. It's getting 10 times the amount of focus. If I want to be cool, calm, and collected while I'm playing Valorant, then that means I need to be more aware. And if I want to be more aware, that's going to take attention points. And since I can't add more attention points, I need to reallocate them, and that means muting the annoying teammates, stopping myself from overthinking the food that I ate earlier, or keeping myself in familiar positions so that I'm not constantly caught off guard and having to rethink new plans. It's all quite beautiful, isn't it? I end my night with some rice, sardines, and vitamin D, allowing myself plenty of time to process all the brand new discoveries that we've made today. Waking up the next day and I'm back out in the sun exploring some guided meditation. It primes my mind for some learning, and it was perfectly timed because I get straight into a group coaching session with Dopai. It specifically looked at Haven, and here's some things I learned. When we're pushing onto site, have my CT smoke stick out. Once we've got control of site and I'm re-smoking CT, that's when I do the deeper smoke. A potential play is planting the bomb, pre-aiming the Sova dart, and staying default to swing off my graffiti players. A concept universal to all maps is to play a lot more aggressive when I have my ult, and looking at defense, I got a much deeper understanding of how the mid-site smoke works and the best positions to play it from. Next up, of course, we need to refuel, so I'm going straight for the rice, sardines, and afterwards some almonds for fat. Partaking in plenty of mindfulness as well as getting a great sleep, you can already see that the wide flick practice is starting to pay off. I played my first competitive session of the day, just 3 games, but To be honest, finishing up, I was feeling a bit down. Through my amazing metacognition skills, I just decided to take some corrective measures. I'm not getting enough nutrition, so the first thing I do is head off to the shops, buy some avocado, broccoli, and sweet potato, and try and get some of those things ticked. This pretty much 10x's the cost of food for the day, so it's not something I'm going to make a habit out of. However, it's definitely crucial in times like this. Now, we saw how quick we could improve our wide flicks just by putting 100 attention points onto developing the skill and just nothing else. And now I'm finally doing the exact same thing for our routing. All 100 attention points on nothing but perfect passing.
Dude!
Gavin and Zach of the Ko-Fi hopped into a custom game and basically were changing positions on A site every single time. My goal was to quote unquote eliminate the defenders, path and clear site, and then hold for the spawn fight. I'm trying to teach myself to hard clear left and right, fight hell, either plant the bomb or not, and then hold the spawn flood from gen. Unless I'm perfectly contacting space, then I'm never going to be able to clear every single angle. There were many times where I was caught off guard, but learning to expect this built up my confidence to push out on site in the first place. After each run, we reset, they got into new positions, and I went back to A main, simulating the exact same micro breaks that I was getting in my wide flick training, as well as walking to go get the golf balls. The next thing that we practiced was contacting space up tree. I thought I killed Gavin as well. It's auto respawn. Gavin, bro, what am I, dude? With nothing else to focus on besides angle clearing, a bit of time to reflect on each and every angle that I missed, and the constant variation in where they could be, the learning potential of this was extremely high. Once I felt like we maxed out A site, we did the same for B site, and I've got to say that my understanding of ascent routing now is 10 times as good as what it once was. So you didn't see me at all there?
Nope.
I'm coming for you, Gavin. Oh, I somehow pre-aimed that. It got to a point where Zach and I just started killing each other with auto respawn on and ended up finding a really cool way to develop our micros. Oh my god, okay, my brain needs a break, bro. I refuel with our sardines and rice, hop onto comp, and put my new micros and pathing to the test. I didn't see the correlation in the moment, but editing this in post and I'm pretty amazed.
It's calm. Oh, my clover's locked.
The rest of my night once again was allocated to clearing my mind, watching the sunset, spending time with my family and partner, and just going to sleep relaxed. I woke up the next day, cooked my sweet potato and broccoli, and mum hooked us up with a lamb chop. One thing that I forgot to mention this week is since I'm no longer waking up at 5 AM to go to work, I've pushed my sleep schedule back, allowing me to eat dinner with the family. I do make sure that the food that I eat aligns with my mission though, so I opt out of any highly processed foods, takeaway, or anything of the sort that'll harm my mental or physical health, as well as my focus while playing and editing. Anyways, the first comp session of the day went extremely well. We were in our shooter mode, we were practicing our attention theory, and we were being rewarded for our efforts, no doubt. After finishing our comp session, it's on to golf, and I decided to fast track my progression by getting some inspiration from professional players. I don't care for any instructions or guidance, all I'm looking for is an example to follow and something that I can let my brain replicate.
I see.
I got outside, didn't give it any thought, and trusted my subconscious to replicate what it saw in the videos. Some immediate changes were that I was holding the golf club from further down, I was leaning over a little bit more, and I was almost flowing through the ball with my entire body instead of like swinging at it with my arms. I continued to practice this form of shot at a short distance as that's what I saw the guy in the video doing. However, I decided to take the principles of that swing and apply it to my longer range swing. I straight away felt the potential but realized that I wasn't getting enough distance and decided to add a little bit more of a follow through to the swing. Just by going off feel and awareness, I was able to integrate our new discoveries into my original swing, combining them to make something that felt amazing. With another insanely progressive golf session down, I spent some time observing how other people clear angles pushing onto site, and then I hopped into a custom game with Gavin where we can once again create that scenario that allows us to put all 100 attention points towards just developing the skill. The main point though is I'm not overthinking my crosshair placement at all, and I'm just letting go of the entire learning process and enabling my subconscious to do the learning instead. That's how we get the fast learning speed, you know? As for the optimal learning environment, this is the setup. My goal is just to clear the entire site and then post up backside. Every time I run out, Gavin is in a completely new new position. Just like in a real game, if I slip up and miss an angle, I'm gonna get shot in the face. The difference, however, is that there isn't a single attention point going anywhere besides my crosshair placement and routing. If I make a mistake, don't clear an angle and die because of it, I'm going to get that feedback and I'm going to use it. I'm going to correct that, I'm going to add that spot to the vocabulary of angles to clear, and it's going to slowly build into my subconscious, becoming second nature. And as you know, once it does, we're gonna have more attention points to put towards clicking the head. My next Valorant session didn't consist of any split games, so I can't show you guys my new routing. However, I'm already starting to become way more aware of my attention points and how I'm allocating them.
I'm not through, yeah. So does backside.
I'm really not focused. I'm thinking about other things. I'm thinking about the team morale and how everyone's kind of giving up. I'm thinking about the Cypher trips and where they could be. Obviously the scoreline, I'm thinking a bit about the RR, I've noticed that. Thinking of everything, and it's just like, you can't play like that. I need a reset. In this case, after just one round of reallocating my attention points, I was straight back to hitting the head.
That's cool. Nice.
Yeah, that's just about everything for the week. So I'm gonna let you guys know now that there's a second video for you to watch. One that's just all about Valorant. You can watch out full rounds, all the random moments from this week, all the highlights, basically everything that I couldn't fit into the main video this week. I just put it into a chill, long form, I don't know, something for the Valorant enjoyers basically. One thing that I'm extremely proud of this week though, that I have to mention before the video ends, is that my YouTube screen time is down to an average of like 10 minutes a day max. And basically what that means is that every single second of my day is either going towards being productive and grinding, being relaxed and mindful, or spending time with friends and family in whatever way I do. Basically, my mind has been so clear this week. I feel really good. YouTube was like the last mega corporation that had a grip on me. I've got no other social media whatsoever. Don't watch movies, don't watch Netflix, nothing, no Instagram. So basically my mind is just completely free from all brain rot, which ironically allows me to grind Valorant harder than anyone could ever imagine. In fact, as of posting this video, I'm like immortal to 110 RR or something like that. I hope you guys have an amazing week of grind, and if not grind, at least spend some time with your family and friends for Christmas. Enjoy yourselves. I'll see you all next week, and I love you all. Take care.
Wait, smoke and altar. Smoke and fucking altar.
One sec. No smoke, no smoke. Wait, what?
They're both city, right?
What a messy, weird, strange, wacky round.